Okay. Um. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. You already know who it is. Target individual CJBK. It is Monday, October 2nd, 9:08 p.m. Um. I just finished cooking a delicious dinner.
I played it.
It's all right. He can speak. That's the little one. Um, yeah. So right now, um, there's they're putting in overtime on my brain. Right. A lot of the energy is right on the forehead. Well, it's actually probably just mostly light energy engaging in the neurons that's on the forehead region, and then it's like passing through and interacting with my midbrain. Several times throughout the night while I was trying to cook and everything, I was feeling them basically um, sending these strong electromagnetic pulses to the brain, which was basically throwing off my balance. It was almost as if like it's like it's like imagine tackling someone, right, without a helmet, but instead of your skull actually colliding with that person's skull, your brain itself actually collides with a hard surface or something like that. It's like a non-kinetic it's like a non-kinetic energy concussion basically. And I realized this is something else that came to mind too. Um, if you focus, or if you learn to actually focus on blocking out, some people may actually become sensitive to the point where they may actually be able to um, consciously try to block out the frequencies. Right? What they'll do is like when you're focused, you're producing a specific brainwave. So when you're focused, you're basically maintaining that specific brainwave. But then what they do is, especially if you live in an apartment building, or if you live on the street level of street level of like your windows are near the street or whatever, and you hear like the sounds of horns honking or cars driving by real fast and loud. Those are simply to interrupt your brainwave pattern. So it breaks the concentration, it breaks the focus, and that creates an opening so that they can basically transmit more and more pulses. Because it's in a sense like you can act when you're focused enough, you can possibly create a repelling electromagnetic field around your brain, or something like that, like almost as if like you can create like a valve where you can shut off any incoming energy, right, and to prevent certain frequencies from resonating with your brain. Then but what's been happening ever since I basically came in the house is all of this, like this just constant dragging of like heavy, what sounds like equipment. It doesn't even sound like furniture. It's like this constant dragging and moving. And I mean, I've been in the house since about 2 2 p.m. and they have not stopped dragging this stuff all across the floor. It has been nonstop. And then not only that has been nonstop, simultaneously, I don't know why they need to wear boots in the house, but it sounds like they're wearing boots. And I'm like, anyone wearing boots inside of their apartment for hours? I'm gonna assume you don't live there. And then me knowing the things that I know and growing up the way I grew up, boots, especially very heavy boots, or especially people that oftentimes wear dark clothing, those are all telltale signs of, you can pretty much tell that, let's say they're night workers. But yeah, so like, I don't even know if you can actually, let me see. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's those popping sounds, right? I think that's I forgot which thing. And it's crazy because I know human anatomy, but I just can't recall. But that thin layer of like tissue, that it's like a thin like layer of like is it connective tissue? I think it's called the paramecium. That basically encases over the brain inside of the skull. It's almost as if like there is no fluid inside of my brain. And it's like the paramecium is basically, it's like, it's so dry inside my brain, and then it's like pressing down on the brain. So whenever I do that, I think that's that's almost like basically the electrical energy produced by the brain trying to lift the paramecium off of the brain itself. So that popping sound you hear is probably that connective tissue just lifting up off of the brain itself. I mean, I don't know if I'm right or not. Because when you think about how they're using radio frequencies to attack the brain, they're basically heating up the brain. So if they're heating up the brain, that means there's no fluid up here. There's no fluid. And if there's no fluid up here, then the paramecium is basically like, it's like having wet clothes on your skin. And you know how like your clothes, when it's wet, it's like stuck to the skin, right? So it's like, whenever I do that, it feels like it tries to lift the paramecium is kind of like maybe the brain is like trying to lift it off of it, but it's so dry. Like that's why you hear that popping sound in my head. Now, not only that, I've been trying to use these heavy metal detoxing frequencies to try to like detox my body because, the nanoparticles that they're basically spraying all over the world, right? Those are metallic. The metallic, and then using electromagnetic energy or even sensors, you can basically guide those nanoparticles or those nanometals into specific places within the brain. Now, mind you, as I'm saying all this, notice what they're saying up there. Now, keep in mind though, everyone has to keep this in mind. He who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. Now, I've mentioned this before where I believe that all the people who are basically handlers, right, at this moment, they're basically told by the secret society, or maybe those who are above them, the upper tiers, are told, yeah, see if you can disrupt this person or take care of that person. And you got to remember, we are very peculiarly strong people. Those of us who haven't died from this technology, we are very chosen by God to live out certain aspects, and to be a certain way in this world, and to actually help and breathe life into people while we're here on this planet. This is one of the reasons why God, in the Bible it says, fear not he who can kill the body, but only fear he who can kill the body and soul in hell. And then also you got to remember that when righteous people die, we don't just die, we just go into a sleep. We go into a sleep, and then God actually raises us back up. And then we are then brought in to be welcomed into the kingdom of heaven. And then not only that, we are then given the opportunity to pass judgment on all those who have basically spent their entire lives on this earth destroying us. We can actually condemn all of those people who are destroying our lives. We can condemn them to an eternity of suffering. They think that by doing what they're doing on earth, they're escaping something. They're not escaping anything. Just always keep that in mind. They're not escaping anything. He who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot. Trust me when I tell you, they think that they're helping themselves by getting rid of people like us. They don't realize, even within secret societies, there are members who know even deeper secrets that other members don't know. I mean, just remember the Georgia Guidestones said that they wanted to get the global population down to, 500 million? 500 million? 500 million out of 8.7 billion people? 500 million? So you telling me all these people think they're going to make it? Come on now. Come on now. Look, don't you think that the first thing the fallen ones would do is try to tell the ones who has been most loyal to them to say, okay, we need you to get the people that's under you to take out God's chosen ones, right? And then once you finish with them, then we're going to need you to take out the ones who took them out. Why? Because you have to cut off all loose ends. I don't know why these people think that they are actually going to be victorious in any way, shape, or form. And then the worst part is they don't believe in spirituality. They don't believe in other dimensions. They don't believe that, they are not necessarily like safe. They're not safe at all. They believe they're safe, but they're not safe at all. They are only carrying out the will of the most wicked ones who were the most disobedient to God, right? But you got to remember, there's nothing new. There's nothing new happening under the sun. They're literally doing the same thing that has been happening for centuries, but with other civilizations. So if we already know what happened to other civilizations, then we already know what's going to happen to them. Oh, now that I'm recording, they want to kind of simmer down. They want to stop dragging stuff across the floor. They want to stop attacking my brain. It doesn't matter what they do. At the end, I know I'm going to see them again. It doesn't matter what they do. I'm going to see them again. I'm going to see them again. They could try to destroy my life if they want to, but I'm going to see them again. And when I see them again, I'm going to be just like God and say, depart from me. And you know, like, I believe that, like, when we cross over from this physical world and into the spiritual world, you'll be able to see the energy field of each and every single person. And the moment I see a dark energy around this person's soul, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just say, depart from me. I'm going to just say, depart from me. And, you know, I've been meaning to read more about Jacob's ladder, right? About the 7 different layers of hell. Many of these people need to be in that very bottom part. I think, matter of fact, the very lowest parts of hell, the very lowest part of hell is where the deceivers go. The deceivers, the manipulators, the ones who basically corrupt the spirits and minds of other people. Those are the ones who probably go into the deepest parts of hell, because they're the ones who actually are convincing others to condemn themselves. That probably is, and look, I'm getting chills when I said that. That's probably actually worse than anything else, because it's not even enough that you're doing wrong yourself, but you're convincing others to do wrong against themselves. That's worse, because it's like now you're making other people condemn themselves. I think that's worse than you doing wrong by yourself. That's why when they told me, Chris, you either gonna become a cop or you gonna be a snitch for the rest of your life. And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't know you, and the fact that you hacked my nervous system and you're projecting your thoughts and your intentions into me, and then telling me in order for me to survive in this world, I gotta become a cop. I'm like, no, because one, I'm like, I don't trust you, and then two, there are probably good cops that's trying to do their job the way it's supposed to be done, but because they got all these other, they got people who have infiltrated, the NYPD, who are probably leaking out information to very important cases to, whatever, the secret society or whatever. That's probably why there's so much corruption, because they got Trojan horses everywhere. They're basically Trojan horses. And that was my original thought to this whole thing, is that they wanted me to become a Trojan horse. And I said, no, I'm not going to be your Trojan horse. And so ever since then, they've been doing everything they can to basically disrupt my entire life. And then, you know what? I've had my family gaslight me too. To myself, I'm not a snitch. This person did this, but they snitched on somebody, and I was like, I'm not a snitch. And I'm like, and I remember them. I don't have to name nobody, but if they watch me, whether it's through the cloud or through these YouTube videos, I know you was gaslighting me. It's okay though. I'll see you again later. But in that moment, I really hope that I still have that forgiveness that I always had in my entire life. Because you knew exactly what you were doing, and you knew what I was trying to do. So it is what it is. You could take me out this world, but you got to remember who actually is running this world right now. And that's why they're stuck on Earth. They can't go nowhere else but on Earth. Evil spirits are stuck on Earth. Fallen angels are stuck on Earth, or at least I believe they're stuck on Earth. I know they can't go to heaven, so they can't, move about like the way they used to. But anyway, yeah. I had a decent day at work today, though. I got blessed a couple of times, so no real complaints. They just keep, hitting me with these electromagnetic pulses in the brain, and tell you the truth, I'm not necessarily trying to like end up on no machine though. Like if I end up brain dead, I'm not trying to end up on no machine. Just go ahead and unplug me, cause yeah, if God allowed it to happen, then I'm just like, nah, don't try to keep me alive. Just unplug me, so then I can go ahead and continue the next part of my journey, because I'm not trying to be left here so then people can end up spending money to try to see, using up all their funds to try to see if they can care for me and all these different things. No. Let me go on to the next realm. So then when I go on to the next realm, I'm going to be watching over everybody. And when you finally leave your vessel, I'm going to be waiting for you at the gate and just say, that one right there? No. Send him down there. Her right there? No. She definitely got to go down there. I'm going to be like the best. I'm going to be like the best. I don't even know what they call him at the club, but the guy with the list. I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna be like the best gatekeeper. Be like, shoot. And it's interesting. There was I watched a couple of videos where one said that where people were saying that hell is empty. I mean, because eventually, I don't not some people aren't. Some souls aren't just tormented for all eternity. Some souls are actually destroyed in hell, right? So if hell is empty, and then you see that Lucifer's army is growing so large right now, and everyone's falling in line, and everyone's doing all these different things that basically falls in line with how Lucifer operates. That's a lot of people. I mean, think about it. They say it's a highway to hell, but it's a staircase to heaven. And nobody like taking the stairs. It's a highway to hell, but it's a staircase to heaven. Nobody like taking stairs. And you know what? In this world, there's very few people that actually likes being right. Or it's very few people that are willing to be right. And it's sad, but it's the truth, though. Oh, she's sleepy. She's tired. Yeah, she had a long day. Watching my girl, she's laying down. Her son is trying to go to sleep. Oh, right. Let me not forget this part. So, the atmosphere, right? Okay, so I've been testing this theory out. There's an app that you can get for either Android or Apple, and it's called Z app, like the letter Z dash app, APP. If you go to the search section, type in detox, scroll all the way down, you're gonna see heavy metal detox. The one that says play for 6 minutes each section, use that. But here's the thing. Because of the chemtrail sprayings and the nanoparticles that's in the air and the radio frequencies and things, you may want to close your windows. Close your windows and try to reduce as much electromagnetic fields and radiation that's in your home. You know, things that don't need to be plugged in, unplug them. Your Wi-Fi router, you don't need your Wi-Fi router on all the time. Matter of fact, I have mine plugged into an outlet where if I flip a switch, it comes on and off. This lamp right here, it doesn't stay plugged in. Anything that doesn't need to be plugged in, the only thing I keep plugged in all the time is the refrigerator. And even that doesn't need to be plugged in. But I say keep your windows closed. And if you can get a dehumidifier, then that works too. Because this apartment doesn't actually have ventilation. But I think that was actually helping to some degree that it doesn't have ventilation because over time, my girl and I, we were realizing that like when we would have the windows closed and we would, you know, play that heavy metal detox frequency sequence, little by little we start to feel ourselves get like the attacks would get less and less, right? Now you also got to remember you want to definitely do the radiation salt detox bath, salt soda detox bath too. Everything is starting to lean more towards detoxing the things that are being put into our bodies that we did not consent to be put in our bodies. Between that and then also just being vigilant and learning about how they're using so many different tactics to try to get at us. And then like I keep touching my forehead because okay. So what I'm doing right now is I am creating like a magnetic pull in my right hand. My right hand is stronger when it comes to creating a magnetic draw. So I'm like, as I'm slowly pulling away, and on the back hand of my hand, I feel the sensors or the energy coming from my phone, and it's going directly into my forehead. Like there is a magnetic force pushing against the back of my hand coming from the phone. That's the sensors that are built into the phone. And they're using the sensors from our phones to basically extract or transmit data or radio frequencies or energy into our bodies. And I'm like, you hear all this? See, I mean, we at least have like a rug on the floor so we could try to like, you know, temper down some sounds that we make. But you can hear they don't have a rug at all. So what am I to do? Go upstairs and say, hey, y'all make a lot of noise. Think you could get a carpet or a rug to put on the ground or something? I could try it. But I don't know. I strongly believe they're eating off the system too, so. Yeah. Anyway. I think I gotta finish cleaning up. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'm gonna finish a beer. Then I'm gonna go to sleep and pray that the Lord continues to wake me up. Yeah, I could literally feel as I turned my head left and right. I could feel the energy directly connected to my midbrain coming from the cell phone. And it's like penetrating through my hand, going directly to my forehead and then into the midbrain. So anyway, take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. Peace.